great to see you again. I'm sorry we won't be learning Parshas together today. I know you were looking forward to it. But I do have a little something up my sleeve I think you might like instead. Today we're going to be talking about Shavuot. I'm so excited! I love the holidays! Don't forget to pay attention. We're still going to have the quiz at the end. Shavuot takes place on the 6th day of the month of Sivan. What does the word Shavuot mean? Well, every week, Motzei Shabbos, we say the word Shavuot Tov. Shavuot sounds a lot like Shavuot, doesn't it? When we are saying Shavuot Tov, we are wishing someone a good week. I know that the word Tov means good, so that must mean the word Shavuot means week. If Shavuot means week, what do you think Shavuot means? That's right, Shavuot is the plural of Shavuot, so it means weeks. Now, why is the holiday called weeks? Does the holiday last multiple weeks? No, it doesn't last multiple weeks. The holiday is called weeks because we count 7 weeks from the second Seder on Pesach until Shavuot. Every day we count for 49 days. Do you know what this is called? Correct. It's called counting the Omer. There are 2 reasons we celebrate Shavuos, not including the fact that we love eating cheesecake, but I'll get to that later. We celebrate the harvest, and we also celebrate receiving the Torah. The name Shavuot has to do with the harvest. The reason we count the Omer until Shavuot is because when our ancestors traveled to Eretz Yisrael, they were farmers. They would count every day for 49 days from the second day of Pesach to know when the first fruits and wheat will be ready. Did you ever have something planned you were really excited for and then created a countdown? Well, counting the Omer is kind of like that, except we're counting up instead of counting down. The Jewish people were so excited for the harvest that they would count the days until it was ready. Shavuot is one of the 3 special festivals known as Shalosh Regalim. The Shalosh Regalim are 3 holidays where the Jewish people travel to Yerushalayim to make sacrifices. The other 2 holidays are Pesach and Sukkot. This was where the Jewish people went to the Beit HaMikdash in order to make sacrifices to Hashem. They would bring fresh loaves of bread and baskets for the first fruits, such as grapes, dates, figs, and honey, to the Beis HaMikdash. Shavuos is also known as Chag HaKatzir, Festival of the Grain Harvest, and Chag HaBikurim, Festival of the First Fruits. The other reason we celebrate Shavuot is the giving of the Torah. Shavuot is known as Zaman Matan Toratenu, the time of the giving of the Torah. After leaving Mitzrayim, the Jewish people wandered in the desert for 7 weeks until they got to Har Sinai. Another reason the holiday is called Shavuot. When Hashem asked the Jewish people if they would accept the Torah, they said, Na'aseh v'nishma. We shall do and we shall hear. They accepted the Torah before they understood what they were accepting. They had so much trust in Hashem, they did not even need to know what they were accepting. Hashem wanted to give the Torah to the Jewish people as soon as they left Mitzrayim, but they were not strong enough to receive it. So Hashem waited until they got their strength back. The Jewish people were standing at the base of Har Sinai when they heard loud thunder, saw flashes of lightning, and the sound of the shofar was getting louder and louder. The people were trembling. Suddenly, it was all quiet, and they waited. Nobody talked or made any noise, not even the animals. And then they heard the 10 Commandments. 1. I am Hashem, who brought you out of Egypt. 2. Do not pray to idols. 3. Do not use my name except for holy purposes. 4. Remember Shabbat and keep it holy. 5. Honor your father and mother. 6. Do not murder. 7. Do not take another person's husband or wife. 8. Do not steal. 9. Do not tell lies about other people. And 10. Do not be jealous of someone else. After hearing Hashem speak the 10 Commandments, Moshe went to the top of the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights, learning the words of the Torah from Hashem so he can teach them to the people. Later, he wrote them down on parchment, which is how we currently read the Torah. How do we celebrate Shavuos? One custom that I think everyone loves is by eating dairy foods, especially cheesecake. Why do we eat dairy on Shavuos? There are a few different reasons. One reason is Eretz Yisrael is described in the Torah as a land flowing with milk and honey. Therefore, we eat a sweet dairy food. Another reason is because after the Jewish people found out the laws of kashrut, they realized their meat was not prepared according to kashrut. so they ate dairy instead. But my favorite reason for eating dairy on Shavuos has to do with the gematria. You're probably thinking, what is that? Well, every Hebrew letter has a numerical value. What does that mean? Every Hebrew letter has a number that goes with it. Like Aleph is 1, Bet is 2, and so on. We can use these numbers to form words, such as the number 18 is lucky for the Jewish people because it spells the word Chai, which means life. Or on Tu B'Shvat, we know it happens on the 15th day of the month of Shvat because the word 2 is 15. Now, getting back to eating dairy on Shavuos, how do we say the word dairy in Hebrew? That's right, it's chalav. That's chet, lamed, vet. Let's figure out the gematria for the word chalav. Aleph, bet, gimel, daled, hey, vav, zayin, chet. That's 8. Okay, write that number down so we remember it. Next, we have to get to lamed. Aleph, bet, gimel, daled, hey, vav, zayin, chet, tet, yud. Now, after we get to 10, we're going to start counting by 10. So right now we have 10. Chaf, lamed. So we have 20, 30. Okay, so we had chet was 8. Now we have lamed is 30. So we have to add 8 plus 30 is 38. Very good. Now, I know what you're thinking. I skipped over vet. Well, bet and vet are very similar and are basically considered the same letter. So therefore, they share a number. So aleph bet, that's 2. So let's add these together. That is, very good, it is 40. Now, do you remember me mentioning the number 40 before? That's right. Moshe was on top of Har Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights, writing down the words of the Torah. Therefore, another reason we eat dairy on Shavuot is because the word dairy, chalav, equals 40. That's how long Moshe was on top of Har Sinai. Another way we celebrate Shavuos is by decorating our houses and shuls with flowers. We decorate with flowers because before receiving the 10 Commandments, Har Sinai was just dirt. When we were receiving the 10 Commandments, it became covered in beautiful flowers. We want to remember how beautiful it was, so we decorate it with our own flowers. Since we received the Torah on Shavuot, it is a custom to stay up all night learning Torah on the first night of Shavuot, and then davening really early in the morning. We do this as a way to symbolize getting ready to receive the Torah. This is called Tikkun Leil Shavuot, the Shavuot night watch. Last year, my friends and I stayed up all night learning, and then we davened shacharit outside and watched the sunrise. It was absolutely beautiful. But the next day, I was so tired. If you plan on staying up all night learning, make sure you take a nap before so you won't be as tired as I was. Since we learned Torah on Shavuot, I want to share with you a little story about the Torah. Once, a rabbi and a soap maker went for a stroll. As they walked along, the soap maker challenged the rabbi. What good is a Torah? After thousands of years of teaching honesty, truth, loving kindness, justice, and peace, the world is still full of misery and trouble. The rabbi was quiet. They came upon a young child playing. The child was covered in dirt and grime. The rabbi turned to the soap maker and said, "What use is soap? With all the soap that exists, the child is still filthy." "But Rabbi, soap can't do us any good unless we use it." "So it is with the Torah," the rabbi replied. "We must apply its words to our lives." We will be studying the Torah on Shavuot, and we learn Torah every week with our Parsha videos. The Torah teaches us how to be good people, but if we don't follow the words in the Torah, they will not help us live better lives. I know it's hard to remember all the lessons in the Torah, but we should try our best to remember to apply these words to our own lives. In shul, we hear the 10 Commandments being read, and we read the story of Ruth. Ruth was a woman who was Jewish by choice, not because she was born into a Jewish family. Elimelech and his wife Naomi had to leave their home and go to a country called Moab because there was a famine. That means there wasn't enough food to eat. Soon after moving there, Elimelech dies, and Naomi is a widow in a foreign land. She decides to continue living there with her 2 sons, who both married girls from Moab. One of the girls was Ruth. Unfortunately, both of Naomi's sons also died, leaving her daughter-in-laws, Ruth and Orpah, without husbands. Naomi decides to leave the land of Moab and travel back to Beit Lechem to live amongst the Jewish people again. She encourages both Orpah and Ruth to return to their parents and remarry. At first, Orpah did not want to, but then agreed to return to her parents. But Ruth refused to return to Moab and chooses to stay with her mother-in-law and to stay Jewish. This was not an easy choice. Ruth had to leave behind everything she knew in order to stay with Naomi, but she was kind and followed Hashem's commandments, so Hashem rewarded her in Beit Lechem. She married a wealthy farm owner named Boaz, and they had a son together named Obed, who was David HaMelech's grandfather. Ruth made this phrase famous: "For wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God." And that's how we celebrate Shavuos. I hope you were paying attention, because it's quiz time! Are you ready to review the holiday? Okay, let's begin. What does the word Shavuos mean? Torah, desert, weeks, or cheesecake? That's right, it means weeks. What do we celebrate on Shavuos? Summertime, the harvest and receiving the Torah, winning a war, or the Earth's birthday? That's right, it's the harvest and receiving the Torah. What type of foods do we eat on Shavuos? Dairy, meat, spicy, or sour? That's right, we eat dairy. Why do we eat dairy on Shavuos? The Torah called Eretz Yisrael the land of milk and honey. The Jewish people learned the laws of kashrut, and their meat was not prepared in a kosher way. Chalav equals 40, and Moshe was on Har Sinai for 40 days. Or all of the above? That's right, it is all of the above. Which was not a way we celebrate Shavuos? Staying up all night learning Torah, eating cheesecake, decorating with flowers, or eating matzah? That's right, we do not eat matzah on Shavuos. Great job, you got them all correct. Thank you for watching my Shavuos video. Chag Sameach!